I mean, how is everything correlated? And, from my work, I know that time doesn't exist, that space doesn't exist. We are present in this moment in time and in this space solely to experience and learn something, to contribute with that to some greater intelligence, which we are all part of. The thing what people are going through is just confirming that there is so much more than any physics or anything that is known to humans, that there is so much more than what we know.
2025 is coming to an end. Death, destruction, dismay, depths of depression and depravity of the human mankind, regurgitated, rewinded version of self. And here, at the darkest, deepest moment of regret, it is the end. It is Christmas. Is it a Christmas to never be forget? Or is it a place where you are going to find something under the Christmas tree that doesn't remind you of what was? And so when you teach people this type of stuff and the embodiment, as you put it, how the soul has described what it is that it wants to experience through the embodiment, what is the fundamental process from your master wisdom teaching that people get to that place where they understand the soul?
Well, I basically help them relax so deeply that we expand their consciousness, we expand their awareness, because they go in such a deep trance state that in that state they're able to remember themselves as the soul. And at one point I start communicating with the soul itself, which then is always an amazing journey. So there is no such thing as the same session. Every session is different, and every session blows my mind, and I learn so much from each client and each session.
So this is an interesting point that you bring up. So there's different sort of facets within your toolbox, a couple of different tools that are quite stand out to me. I imagine in Croatia there's maybe or maybe not a specific mythical sort of ancient culture practice that's indigenous, as opposed to something that you're relating to a hypnagogic state that is in a somnambulistic, limitless possibility. Now, would that be in reflection to something a little bit more contemporary that's regurgitated like a Dolores Cannon sort of quantum healing, or are we just talking about the understanding that conscious and unconscious meet, and then you find the sweet spot where people just like basically surrender?
Well, I would say that it's a combination of so many techniques, like you said. Like my toolbox is really big, so I use different tools for different people. I'm pretty intuitive, so I let my intuition and the client guide me, and I never know what I'm gonna do in particular session, whether I work with groups of people or one-on-one. So it's very unknown for both myself and the client or the group that I work with. So there is no one specific technique that I will use. I'll really sense in the moment what's needed, and I will follow that like innate sensation and just the inner knowing, which quite often blows my mind. And along the time, I learn how to put my mind on the side and just not question the process and just follow whatever is being revealed moment after moment.
So what's the catalyst? How did you find that you had this insight and inquire into something that made it possible that you could actually be an instrument of divinity?
Well, I always sensed that I'm different, which felt like a burden while I was younger. And then just getting older, at one point, I started embracing that. I had one like big period in my life where everything fell apart, and which was great actually, because that really pushed me into doing what I'm doing today. because my life before was more, I was living more in a corporate world, even though at the same time I was always studying all this stuff. I was always, my soul always guided me there. But the way I was brought up, the way I was living, it was more in 3D structure until finally the 3D structure fell apart. And then I had like the opportunity to decide whether I'm gonna rebuild the old life I was living or finally start following my soul's calling, which I did. And yeah, that was 15 years ago, and I'm so happy it happened.
And so,
But even before, tell me, yeah.
No. What was it? What made it tangible for you? What happened? Did some entity emerge from the ethereal plane and bang you on the head with a spiritual hammer, or how is it that you woke up to something greater than the mundane distortion of the material world?
Well, it was more earthly, I must say. Just the life I was living was so full of trauma, full of stress, full of hectic, that my whole system fell apart at some point. My body got ill. The relationship that I was in with the father of my kids was horrible, and I just couldn't stand it anymore. And actually, my body falling ill was the wake-up call, because I realized I cannot take it anymore. And because of all the circumstances that were going on, I lost all the money that I inherited plus that I earned. So my company went bankrupt. I was like, I started not from zero, but from below zero. And then I had the option, whether I'm going to rebuild my old company and continue doing what I'm doing, or finally start utilizing all the knowledge and gifts I had, which were very close to my heart. And finally, I started doing that. And that just started to open door after door. And here I am.
Mm-hmm. And alas, we have come to the end of the road. No, I mean, you're
hopefully not yet, but
yeah, not yet. So, what is it that excites you? Is it a physical, mental, emotional healing? I mean, it's such a big, large, wide open space for change that, if you wiggle your pinky toe, you're going to see something change in your eyebrows. So, what is the macro of a micro, and how can you measure that as a transformative like state? I mean, people get relaxed. That's the temporary relief from an impermanent situation, which is transitory, like a mental emotional state. But it still holds ground. It holds charge. And if you don't know how to transmute and throw back into the wood chip or recycle into your whole stream, it's temporary. It's a relief. It's like meditation. It's like a shot of whiskey. It's a back massage. It's nothing that will hold the true sense of self. What is it
exactly.
that you do? What is it that you do that makes that true?
Well, what I do is, so whenever I work with someone, I ask or I sense what is the major problem they're struggling with in their life. Whether it's a physical disease, anxiety, some phobias, or any struggles they have. And then I have this, I would say, a gift to really know how to guide them to the root cause of the problem, whether it's from this life or some other lifetime, or it's learning on the soul level. And I go there. Of course, first I create the resources and the sense of safety so that they have the capacity to go where I'm taking them, or actually where the soul is taking them. I'm just following. So I go way, way, way beyond relaxation. Sessions with me are not easy sessions. Sessions with me go very deep. They are very profound, very transformative, and it takes days and weeks for everything to settle down. But someone's life is never the same after that kind of session. And people usually see me, once or twice, and that's it. Maybe they come after a few years to work on something else. But I do so much in those few hours we are together that we like reassemble their whole life. And then I just let it sink into their body and just this life they're living here, and let it unfold and let them learn and master everything that was revealed in the session, because after all, they chose to be in this body, they chose to be in this life, so they need to live it, everything that was revealed and everything that was shown, and then it's up to them, to live. So yeah, those sessions are not sessions like somebody goes to therapist once a week or once a month or something like that. I really see my clients just once, maybe then another time in a few months, and then again in a few years. And then I hear how their life changed because of that session, which is amazing.
Now, what makes this so different from, a yoga class and a meditation, guided meditation retreat, 3 days in Bali and a couple of shots of the local rum? What makes this transformative? Right?
Because I help them reconnect with their soul self, and then just that moment of remembering themselves as a soul is very profound, and then also accessing all the information that is needed for them to understand, for example, why they chose this life, why they chose this body, why are they struggling with certain things or relationships in this life, but what is the lesson behind all that. So it brings them sense of empowerment. They step out of the victim mode, because quite often people think that somebody else, whatever is happening in their life is because of somebody else, or is because they did something wrong, so they're guilty and they should be ashamed of whatever they did. So it really brings clarity that everything is okay just the way it is, and that everything was just part of the journey and part of the learning that they chose to go through. And I empower them so they can continue living their life in a, I would say, aware way. So they just wake up and then they see their lives in a different way than they used to. It's like I open the doorway and that doorway always stays open for them. And they just live this life as a soul in this body, not as a, just mind and body trying to figure out this life and this reality.
So you would say there's a prerequisite for your meeting, a level of awareness that, because these are really powerful node points, but to someone who works the 9 to 5 at McDonald's, flipping hamburgers, they're going to say, "What the fuck did you just say?" And they're going to be like,
Yeah, definitely they need to be ready. Definitely somebody needs to be ready to work with me. There needs to be a level of awareness and willingness, I would say. And quite often people who come to see me, they've come to the point that they've tried everything and they just don't know what to do. They feel hopeless. They feel like nothing's working, and then they're ready to surrender. Just do whatever you feel you have to do. Just help me, and that's the great moment when they finally surrender, and then we can go. So yeah, those people that come to work with me probably already have done quite a lot of work, tried many things. Some things felt like they worked, some things like not. But they are mature, I would say, and they're ripe for this kind of work. They're ready to be waken up.
aha moments. Always
Uh-huh.
aha moments. Yeah, it's we use different phases, right? So you get someone relaxed and then what peels the onion? How do you access that autonomous disbelief and puppeteer what is supposedly unobtainable? Is
Well, first of all, before I get them relaxed, so if we're talking about one-on-one sessions, I talk to them and I ask them about their life, what they're struggling with, what they would like to gain from the session. And as they talk, I catch different words like feelings, beliefs, patterns that they might not be even aware of. And I write them down and I know, okay, this is what I need to explore. And it's super interesting because there's no way you can predict with your conscious mind where we're gonna go. So it's always like going on an adventure. And then I help them relax in different ways, because everybody is different. So some people need more relaxation, some go very deep, very fast. Some have hugely analytical mind that wants to, understand everything and basically protect them, because at some point in their life, the conscious mind learned to be super active, to trying to predict what may happen in order to protect them from being hurt again. So in that case, I need to work with conscious mind first, and to make sure that it's willing to step aside and let us do the work. And then sometimes I'll use regression techniques where I just regress them to the root cause of the problem. Sometimes I'll guide them to their childhood, to the womb, and from the womb into the soul state. Sometimes they will just close their eyes and go. Some are so ready that they'll just immediately be aware of themselves as a soul. And then with others who have been maybe very traumatized and, as I said, have very strong analytical mind, they will require more gentle approach, more talking, more visualization to help the mind and the body relax. And I ask a lot of questions, and then based on their answers, I know what the next step will be. And it's like lifting veils and just like you said, peeling of the onion, layers of the onion. It just beautifully reveals stuff that we could not even think of.
Right. So, everything is an iteration of self, right? Would you agree?
Definitely, yeah.
So, a macro to a micro, you are me, I am you. I think
Exactly.
you got the better end of the stick. You're far more good looking than the Brad.
Well,
With
thank you
that,
for the compliment.
as that said, you sort of whittle down a refined version of self, whether it's a subatomic particle or the cosmos. We're all sort of oscillating and varying between that symbiotic dance of yin and yang. Is the distortion of what we would refer to as a material state. This is where you're looking to find that center point where the convergence is one. Past, present, and future meet as one.
Exactly.
And of course, now you find evidence. Using linguistics is always a great way. People tend to make a mistake of showing you who they are just through their words themselves. Of course, as a therapist or a hypnotist or a parapsychologist would refer to as an ideomotor response. Some type of ideogram is where you're creating a language that's secondary. Are you familiar with this ideogram?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like another variable. And, ideomotor is fascinating to watch because you're the tuning fork, right? My people might water it down to a Ouija board, dowsing rods, tarot cards, hopping on one foot, muscle testing, whatever you want to do. You will get a response that is, very, very shocking because consciously you're not expecting the body to have a mind of its own, which is
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You know, I like this. You know, not that I'm recommending you do this, but I love taking people, because body dowsing is a conditioning that we do within Taoism, where you
Mm-hmm.
are tuning fork, and every variable of energy potential is met, that you can find anything, vortices, grids, power centers. They're all made up within the construct of this material state. And the finer you refine yourself as the tuning rod, you can really, you know, concentrate the ability to feel into the visceral, somatic, kinesthetic response
Mm-hmm.
being emanated. So I like doing the coin trick, where I'll take someone. We're out here in Las Vegas, so I'll take them, give them a quarter, and we'll go into a big hotel and go, drop the quarter anywhere, come back, and then I'll find it by using your mind. And they're like, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
And so they drop it off, and then I just read the emanated energy from their body,
Mm-hmm.
because it's already captured in their mind, and they'll take me right back to the quarter. And it's just part of that response. That's how it works. Do you use any specific techniques that are fundamental? Do you give people the experience or a language that they, because it's all individualized until otherwise noted. They create their own language to identify with what that is. Is that a thing that you tend to impart with them, or?
Um, could you just reframe your question so I'm sure that I understood you
So,
well?
so through your teaching, do you
Mm-hmm.
give them a gateway to create their own language of understanding for their experience?
Well, no, I will let them create their own language in whatever way, it is their own way, and I'll just follow them. So I will not, yeah, I in any way, I won't suggest anything. That's why I ask questions and let them guide me. And when I say them, I'm not talking about the conscious mind. I'm not talking about a human self. It's something much more wiser than our human selves. Um, so whatever language or way they choose to communicate with me, I will follow that. I won't impose anything, and that's how I learn as well. In every session. Because sometimes we go on such a crazy journey that I'm in shock afterwards where we were and what was revealed to us, about whatever other lifetimes, other spaces and timelines. So I just follow them,
Okay,
and it
so
depends on how, I would say, or it depends on the level that human self can receive and digest information they receive. That's what they're gonna get. So if somebody has, larger capacity to understand and hold in this body and in this reality, they will receive some things will be revealed to them, which is way beyond what we perceive in this 3D reality. And then for some might just be a healing of trauma in this lifetime, and that's it, because that's as far as they can go in this moment.
yeah, I mean, you identify sensory perception, the basic senses that are familiar for a human being, and generally people talk with that as the main catalyst. What are they excessive in or deficient in? Like, being the most distant from really who you are is the excess to deficiency of these type of abilities of perception by using these fundamentals. Like, for example, you being a very visual person, being a leading element of who you are, how does that conduct as the main component, whereas the visceral feeling aspect is, second or third on the gear stick of how you
Well, I would
experience.
say that the visceral, the feeling is even I would say it is the first, and then they try to translate it in the language and in the words. They experience much more than they can actually put into words and share with me. I see it as just seeing a tip of the iceberg of this vast whatever they are experiencing, not just on a visceral level, but they're just plugged into this pool of information, and then it's up to how much they can translate into human language, into sensation on a physical level, and then share it with me. So it goes beyond the human senses, but it also has to serve this human in this life. So it is translated in some way for them to understand and utilize it. And again, I would say there is majority of the work that we do is done on a subtle energetical level they don't even understand, but that will create changes in their life.
When you say subtle, that's a word that I've got an aversion to. It gives me a rash. When it comes to energy, there's no such thing. In my subjective experience, it's a banger. Like, you will feel something that is an embodiment. And I mean, the body itself being a tuning fork, if exhausted, if incinerated, what experience are you having on planet Earth? None. It's like you're off somewhere else. It's like a variable lens. Like, body-centric experience, in my opinion, makes it possible for you to sort of ascertain your asinine, redundant sort of behavior as a human being. That human condition comes from being body-centric. Where does it go beyond the human experience, and what do you describe as that being? What is that?
When I say subtle, I mean something that is maybe not seen and understood by the conscious mind. When I say subtle, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist in this body. It for sure it does, because we are all energy after all. It's just not known to them on a conscious level. That's what I mean by subtle.
Yeah, I mean, that's always that trigger word. Help, help. It's one of those things. It's like, I teach people different variables of what they refer to as, within Taoism, we have this Taoist alchemy. It's called Qigong, right?
Mm-hmm.
We move energy with your mind, and that is a culmination of evoking that power. You must integrate Hui Dan, which is external stresses, with Ni Dan, which is internal stresses. You merge those two, and that gives you imperium dominion over the material world. You actualize the spirit, and now you transform things. Like, what I mean, I'm very familiar with physical transformation for over 30 years. That's all I watch. Transformation is now. And it's like, if you want to see a physical healing, stop by. We'll have a fun, because it happens now. It doesn't happen like you said. I love that part where you go, look, people come to me once or twice maybe in their lifetime because, I'm going to absolutely unpeel whatever's left and give them
Definitely.
unfettered experience. And I mean, it's so important because, this is a journey, but most people tend to replicate the repeatable diminished return of self because they haven't been given anything else. So everything is limited. Everything is limited. Everything is conditioned to be limited because of their exogenous stressors, their personality. It's not required to experience wholeness. Yet, when you experience the convergence of past, present, and future, that healing is absolute, and it does not need your participation. That's that part.
Exactly.
So for me, it's about a currency culmination, and the currency of this particular material state is energy. So to play with the symbiosis of a dualistic merging of yin and yang is where you create vibration, which is frequential and holds resonance. And once you maintain or hold the resonance or charge, whether it's within the body centric or anything like this, is everything has a charge. We are just either oscillating at the same or excess or furthermore a greater resonance depending upon the individual that creates something in the material world. Do you focus on that at all, or they just unravel and they don't need it?
No, I definitely focus on that, and that's exactly what I meant by when I use the word subtle, because I believe we are so much more than what we can perceive with the conscious mind, and it takes willingness and courage to go there and to just peel all that and to not just remember who you are, but to own it, because for many people, it's much easier to live small while they're on Earth, and then just remembering how like we all are, how amazing and great we are, as the souls, just being here in this fragment of time and space, while we are also everywhere else at the same time, because I'm talking to this consciousness that is presented to me while they're here. It's a lot, but it's so powerful if you want to embody it and live it.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Amen to that. It's an ongoing revelation.
Definitely.
There is no end, no beginning.
Exactly. And that's why I love this work, because it really takes me beyond, not just my clients. It takes me beyond things that I know. And every day is just a new way of me, a new opportunity for me to learn and remember something that is way, way beyond I knew. And some, not just my clients, what they reveal to me, but also what I experience within me when I do this work. And that's what quite often blows my mind, my conscious mind, and my body. And it is also something that I am mastering and learning, to work with the energy and with people in a way not to burn out my body, not to burn out my mind, and just be the vessel for whatever is working through me, and not destroy my physical body and my nervous system while I do that. So I'm learning as well. It's something I'll be learning all this life, and probably many, many others.
And so you lead your sensory perception leads with visual, audible, kinesthetic. What's the
I would even say
stressor?
it's beyond that. I would say that it's something that's maybe even hard to explain with just human language and words. I don't know how to put it in words. That's why when you ask me to describe myself in one sentence, it's beyond.
Well, potentiality, right? I mean, until I watched flesh meld before my very eyes and heal, it was a concept. I'm very familiar with that. I have been for over 30 years. What high point that sold you on whatever it is you're doing? I mean, outside of it being a psychotic break, how do you make it so that it's valid for you and others? There must be some highlight. It's like, oh, this happened, or something. There was a moment where I witnessed a healing mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, that sold me that this is beyond my finite mind.
You mean in my own personal
Yeah.
life or working with somebody else?
Yeah. I mean, you didn't just
I
wake
had
up one
many
day.
moments.
You didn't
I
wake up
had
one day and
many
go, "Hey,
wake up moments.
I'm flipping burgers at McDonald's. Now I want to be a healer." You know, there must have been something
I
that
knew
made
it
it.
from since I was little that I'm different, and that I have this gift, but I don't know what that gift is, nor how I'm gonna use it later in my life. I Even though it might sound completely crazy now, I from while since I was very young, I had this feeling that that my purpose for this life is to help the world heal and to contribute to that and to raise consciousness. I didn't know how. I was just drawn to helping people, exploring all this stuff that we are we will be always exploring. I mean, everything that is just beyond senses, the energy, the just anything, healing, quantum, whatever you name it. So how is everything connected? I was always questioning life, always, and I always will be questioning not just life but everything, the existence, and myself, the relationships, the energy, how is everything entangled, and it just blows my mind. And
So you tend to lean towards a Max Planck unit of energy as opposed to the spooky bending of reality, as the old goofy guy with the gray hair would say. This is, MC squared is part of the fundamentals. When you mention entanglement, you're talking about a 0 point, right?
yeah, I mean, how is everything correlated? And we from my work, I know that time doesn't exist, that space doesn't exist, that everything is happening now, and just by that we are present in this moment in time and in this space solely to experience and learn something, to contribute with that to some greater intelligence, which we are all part of. So what I experience in those sessions, whether just from me personally or witnessing what people are going through, is just confirming that there is so much more than any physics or anything that is known to humans, that there is so much more than what we know, and that's what we're going to continue learning and exploring this whole life and beyond and beyond and beyond. I believe it's never going to end. After all, there is no time again and no space. So just, I don't know, I don't have all the answers, but I'm just willing to continue exploring and learning. And I
And
accept that I'll never know everything.
yeah, it's like a famous movie from the 80s called A Few Good Men. You ever heard of it?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's this courtroom scene where Tom Cruise is interrogating Jack Nicholson, and he's supposed to get him to confess. It's like, just answer the question. Did you order the code red? And the more interrogation, the deeper you go. Just like this charge that you and I got. The second I started to talk about a fixated point, the visceral oscillation of the body's communing is what my parapsychologist friends called psychokinesis. We're feeling this elation as one union because it is
Mm.
tangible. We're experiencing it now. And the breath resuscitates and emphasizes that full body experience. But the answer was, damn straight, I ordered the code red because you can't handle the truth. The truth is an absolute that will only be turned to a universal once the subjectivity is melded back into the soil, returned to from where it came, that you are not a sum of all your parts. And that can only come from recognizing that you are me, I am you. Everything is the same.
Exactly.
And that's, I think, the biggest issue that most people have on a spiritual path is being able to be comfortable with themselves, accepting themselves.
And others. Yeah, true. Yeah, accepting themselves and others. And accepting that whatever is happening is okay, that there is no bad or good, it's just the experience. And we as humans tend to really how do we say it in English, like really cling on to like trying to define things and put them in certain boxes and name them and label them and relationships and other people, and by that we just stripped all the magic of life.
Well, the meaning of life, right? Everyone's looking for the prophecy for the next week, the next year, the next lifetime. Give me
Yeah.
the answer to the meaning of life. And Lao Tzu, my teacher, my main teacher that I communicate with on a second by second basis, I channel, I use mediumship, all that kind of good sort of funky metaphysical stuff. When I channel Lao Tzu, he's very simple. The dialogue is quite simple. Well, what does it mean? What is the purpose of everything? And his answer is, imagine you're like a grain of sand, asking the beach, what are we doing today? Fall back into the beach and be realized. Oh, you can't make that shit up. It's like I actually look like I know what I'm talking about, but I'm just a bag of rocks that emanates an echo of something that's a dialogue to a monologue. When you return to that source, that monologue is the source of divinity. It may be God, Jesus, universe, Buddha, Tao. We refer to it as the primordial mother. That is a truth serum, an elixir for immortality in this material world. Once you exercise your Tao given rights that are not a requirement, they're a rite of passage that are always and forever you. But, life is a distortion. Lies are your everyday life. And you, as a sleuth, your Sherlock to your Watson, is to use your deduction and mediate through the labyrinth of the human condition and come out as a human being. Yay.
Yay. Yeah.
It's always the fun part. It's like, okay, you got me, it's a rough one. But I mean, most people have this subjective ideology that really amounts to nothing, but my football team is better than yours.
Yeah.
First fundamental pitfall in self-suffering and self-realization is that, by accepting yourself, you accept everyone. Servitude and selflessness is the default that comes with true embodiment.
Exactly. Yeah.
It
And
doesn't.
there's such beauty when we just go beyond the limits of the human mind and remember that what you're saying, and then do our best to bring it into this 3D world and live it. And then life throws various challenges at us, giving us an opportunity to live what we know as the soul. And I think that's the beauty of life, where we every challenge, every relationship is an opportunity to live as we are all one, and as everything is love. And yeah, sometimes we fall, sometimes we manage to do it.
Well, love is like so subjective until otherwise noted, right? I mean, I mentioned 0 point. Are you familiar with that concept?
Yeah.
0 point. I mean, I found it really funny. It was rudimentary in itself because guess what? Taoist alchemy goes back a couple of clicks in a timeline, but let me just rewind back to a specific alchemical process where we evoke what you would refer to as the heart center, the
Mm-hmm.
the fourth chakra, whatever you want to call it. We refer to it as the middle dantian. And
Yeah.
dantian in definition means the elixir field, the power that we get from that within Taoism. And so we have this alchemical process. It's called the witnessing of a death of a star and the rising of the red phoenix, as you evoke and open up black hole energy as the stream of absolute animation and the truth to all things. And that red phoenix rises, and that is the spirit animal that protects and is the arbiter of that energy within the heart center. And so when I started hearing these theories of everything, where a lot of physicists are talking about the 0 point and the correlation between black hole energy being a substance within everything, it's hilarious because this is a practice that has gone back 100,000 years, on paper 6,000 BC within Taoist alchemy, of a process that they've just discovered, so it must be real now. It
Yeah. Yeah.
has to be real now. Oh, fuck, jeez. I got some guy who's speaking some really infantile language that maybe dates 600 years. Not even. I'm thinking like 400. And of course, that outweighs the indigenous ancient practices that within the Chinese culture that go back to 6,000 BC. But now I believe you because they've spoken the word of truth. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
hang on a second. Whoa.
Yeah.
Scientism is an interesting ism. It's
Ism.
it is. It's an ism that goes far beyond any type of other ism, because the hubris that a lot of people hold from that one point as being the absolute truth. Oh, we can show you. I mean, again, people are beyond the zeros and ones. There is no more equations. The true evolution of a spiritual chaser is an experiencer. The experiential moment is all you have. You either do it or you don't. You shit or get off the pot. It's now. Show me. Back in the 80s, we had this thing called the Pepsi Challenge. I'm a Pepsi Challenge guy from the 80s. I'll take the Pepsi taste test with anyone. You give me 2 cups, they would take Coke and Pepsi. They'd put it down and they'd put cups over the top. Then they'd pour the subjective person 2 glasses and they'd drink both of them and go, which one is Pepsi? They wouldn't say what the other one was. And they go, wow, I really like this one. And they'd go, this is the great one. And then they'd pull the cup up and go, see, it's Pepsi. The other one was Coke. See how amazing that is. It's a litmus test, a very measurable state. You're either transforming or you're not. Are you meeting that moment, that fragility, that frostbite, that razor burn that you're getting from coming right up to the edge of what is possible? And they choke. They submit. They're submissive. They become weak. They become soft. They become beta, and they don't take what's back. They don't take their own self. And that softness turns into hardness back to softness. That's the supple realization, but you have to reach for yourself. You can't have someone else wipe your ass, which is the very fundamental issue with the weak, deficient human being that's being trained that way through the exogenous environment. You don't have the power. You can't think for yourself. You don't have the ability to transform. Someone else has to do it for you. And if I tell you you're sick, you're sick. If I tell you you're limited, you're limited. And they don't realize they just get hypnotized with social media and they start believing all the same nonsense over and over and over again. And unfortunately, myself as a remedy or antidote to the status quo does ruffle quite a few feathers. And the answer that I give them is, fuck you very much. And it just comes down to the get down, because it's people like yourself, Guy, Matt, You just bring it. Holy shit, I had a fucking meltdown equivalent to a psychotic break, and now I'm transformed. Yeah, I'll hold your hand while you go through the death. It's all right. You get a little cold, you get a little sweaty, you get a little hollow, and then you fill right back up as that cup is full. And I'm right there to look in your eyes and hold your hand and grasp that hand and give you the strength that you need to go through this moment as a collective. And
Exactly.
I believe that's what you guys do when you do your retreats and your experiences, is you slap them down and pull them back up, because they need to recognize they have that power. It's always been there. It's never ever left them. But to do that, you need to break a little bit. You need to give a little bit. We refer to that, the selfishness to the selflessness requires the sacrifice. And the sacrifice is the subjective nonsense that you correlate as some voice in your head that tells you you are lesser. And you got to throw that back in the wood chipper and recognize you are all powerful, you are holy, you are one. And that comes from a experience that is visceral, somatic, kinesthetic. The body is the tuning fork that gives you the answers beyond the finite mind. You're not analytical assessment. You're feeling into it. It's like, holy shit, I don't have to even, I'm not processing this. I'm either having a stroke or an awakening, one of the two.
Yeah, or both.
Or both. And that's completely okay. If people that are on this journey hang around with WebMD, they're going to be very, 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 very saddened by the outcome, because once they go through the symptomatic effects of, a heart attack or a stroke or a seizure that is given to them within a WebMD description, and they're still standing and they're still alive, but they have the physiology that might represent that, but that's not the truth. It's about an awakening and expansion.
Yeah.
All that shit means nothing.
Yeah. Remembering. Yeah, as you were speaking, I just remember how my teacher, Paul Around, one of my teachers that taught me hypnotherapy and regression therapy, what he used to say was that most of people need to be dehypnotized. That, the human race is hypnotized by everything, by upbringing, by news, social media, whatever, and that we need to all wake up. And I believe that's what we do. We help people wake up. We help people remember what they truly are. I won't even say where they're coming from, because it's, again, it sounds like there is a special place where we come from, but as we know, there is no such thing. It's just the awareness that is here and now, but there's so much more.
Have you ever, I like doing street magic out here in Vegas. People are always looking for a good time, so I take my kids out. And one of the first things I taught them before I started teaching them sensory perception, like clairvoyance, mediumship, channeling, I started with, hypnosis, the convergence of conscious and unconscious mind. And it's always fun. It never gets dull when I can, erase someone's name from their mind and I turn into Justin Bieber. It's always fun. A PGO spike is a great gateway to recognizing how fast you can shit the bed and be reimagined in the same breath, that you don't even recognize the potential of instant transformation until you experience it. Do you do any of that type of thing where you do
No, I can't say.
You have to go to the other side. You see, you're used to the perfect setting. That's not enough. You got to battle test this shit, my friend. You have to get out there into the trenches. And, I sometimes I go a little far, when I'm at a restaurant or something like that, and I'll hypnotize the waiter and I'll hand him an invisible credit card. And then he'll literally be like excited that he got a tip that didn't exist. And then I'll snap him out of it and go, sorry, we were just having a little fun here. Here's my real card. But that covert hypnosis is fun. The truth is anyone that tells you you can't be hypnotized against your will is full of shit, because you only know what you know and you don't know what you don't know. So yes, okay, sure, my will is withstanding, and I can't be. Look, I can dip someone into fractionation without them even knowing that what that is, and the pacing and leading is just me using the power of the words to penetrate your mind.
Mm.
And so they're already doped in. I mean, we use an ancient practice within Taoism called rhapsody, and
Okay.
rhapsody is a form of really deeply embedded, imbued magic, and we form incantations that alter the material at will with this deep level of magic, drawing in grids and using the constellations and what we call star stepping. And we draw that energy in, and it's more fundamental within feng shui, and we restructure the environment so that it plays into an absolute flow of perfection. So everything within that space will be altered and returned back to holiness. And so with that, you may have to meet your maker because you can't understand why you feel the way you do, but you want to just like unravel. And that is the effects of resonance. But yeah, the rhapsody is very ancient in its cultivational practice. And words are weapons, and they're also a form of love. It depends on how you look at it.
Or use them.
Right, right. Linguistics is the potent charge, the gateway, the entry to who you really are, because that is an iteration of self. Um, you know, it's fun. I like it. It's my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, everything what we do, it is fun, and we as humans tend to take ourselves and life too serious, definitely, when there is so much more. And yeah, it's cool when you remember,
Well,
right?
I mean, from the hidden secrets that will not be revealed on this podcast, but let's just say when you access disassociation, all bets are off in what the potential is, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And
Yeah,
so people need to understand that that is the limiter. I am this body, I am this mind. That is the fundamental issue that most people have until otherwise noted.
exactly. I couldn't agree more. Yeah,
And
yeah.
amen to that. Well,
Amen to that,
this
definitely.
has been amazing, my friend. I'm very grateful that you've taken the time. You're another part of the family. Matt and Guy are like brothers to me. Now I have a sister. There you go. Look at that.
Yes, you do.
Right.
Yeah.
And, at some point, I'd love to see you guys, head on over here to USA. I'm pushing these guys to get out here next year. I don't know what your schedule is, but I mean, you need to.
Matt is all in. Matt says that we have to go to States. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I have a retreat center. We'll get you set up, and we'll make it. You just need to we need to work out the date, and let's do it. Let's not pontificate. Don't have Guy get all, oh my goodness, I'm having another awakening. No, that's got to stop. It's not. It's like, we're good, brother. We're good. Just keep expanding. It's like poop, crouch, and repeat. It's okay. It's all good.
Well, Matt is all, he's ready. And whenever, yeah, whenever the opportunity opens, we're
Yeah,
coming. Don't
yeah,
worry.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'll touch base with Guy and say, hey,
The
the
time is
other
now.
two, the other two amigos are in. You're the only one that's shitting the bed here. We need you to commit, my friend. It's
To
over.
get your shit together.
That's right. That's beautiful, beautiful. Well, I love these guys like brothers. I love you like a sister. I feel very familiar with you. It's like returning home, and this is a bond that you get when you know. You know,
Exactly.
you know. It's like as Queen would say, "Here we are, born to be kings. We are the masters of the universe." Now, I don't do princes. I'm a master. This is how it is. Even though, Freddie, I love you, brother, it's not Prince, it's masters. And that goes back to the soundtrack of Highlander back in the 80s. What a great movie. You'll probably take a few seconds to digest what I said. It sounds like a bunch of shit all compressed into one part, one node, but you'll get it.
Don't worry. One large part of me is following you, so don't worry about my cautious mind.
Well, it's been a
my
real
cautious mind surrendered.
Yeah. It's like, well, I'm past it. I've pierced the veil. I'm just all in. There we go. It's happening. What was I going to say? So I'm going to put all your social sphere and interweb under this podcast where people can find you, looking for more intimate teaching, one-on-ones, groups, all that kind of stuff. People can do things over the internet. Tell me more about what you're offering.
Just like you said, from one-on-one sessions to retreats to trainings, training other people who want to do this work. That's actually where I really want to put my energy into in the following years. I'm ready to pass down the wisdom and knowledge that I was given. And also because the demand for the work that I do is just too big for me. I cannot help as many people as I would love to. So it's time to share this knowledge with others so we can just help more people. So that's what I'm passionate about. But yeah, one-on-one sessions, retreats, school for therapists. That's it, I would say.
Thank you, sir. May I have another? Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. May I have another? Oliver Twist, one of my favorite. You want more, boy? Yes. May I have some more, sir? Yeah, it's a thing. Don't worry. I'm computing. I'm firing off on all levels. I'm just another iteration of you, my friend. It's like, holy shit, this guy is like on something else. I don't know what it is. Not in this. It's not on planet Earth. Yes, I might have had a couple of more sips of the old coffee here. You know. And it fired me up. The two tones are blasting, man. Boom, 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 boom. So this is awesome. I look forward to seeing you in 2026, and we'll get down with
I'm looking forward to seeing you. Thank you for having me.
I'm very, very grateful that you've spent the time, and it's wisdom teachers like you that the world can only make more and more room for, and I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Same. Thank you for you.
And with that, I will say thank you. I bid you a farewell. I want to thank the universe for bringing you into my life. I want to thank the audience for sharing their time with us today. I am your humble servant and Sifu Taoist Master San Qing. I'll see you in the next one, guys.